Course 3, Decentralization Fundamentals. What is DAO? Hey there! In this module, you'll learn about DAOs and how entire organizations can exist based on the principles of decentralization. DAO stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization, operating through smart contracts, following predefined rules set in the program's code. Essentially, DAOs perform the same tasks as traditional companies and communities, rallying people around common goals. However, unlike conventional organizations, DAOs lack a hierarchical structure. In a regular company, there's usually a clear vertical hierarchy. Shareholders elect directors who appoint executives and managers responsible for making direct decisions regarding the company's operations. With DAOs, this chain is streamlined, and decisions are made directly by its participants. Typically, a DAO possesses a treasury, the organization's funds expressed in cryptocurrency. It's the management of these funds that engages the organization's participants, who, through voting, determine which ideas are deserving of investments. The functioning of a DAO relies on pre-established rules encoded as smart contracts, which facilitate the management of the organization. For any decision-making, voting is conducted among participants who are holders of the DAO's native tokens. In most cases, the weight of a vote in decision-making is proportional to the number of tokens held by the participant. This similarity also links DAOs to traditional companies, where major shareholders hold more voting power and thus can have a greater influence on decision-making. A DAO can either be open or closed to new participants. In the former case, native tokens are freely distributed and can be bought and sold by any users. This closely resembles stocks traded on exchanges, allowing any investor to become a co-owner of the company. In the case of closed DAOs, membership is not open to everyone, but only to candidates who have undergone verification, earned the right to join, and sometimes paid an entry fee. The main advantage of DAOs lies in addressing the principal-agent problem, which describes the situation between a principal or employer, the one giving instructions, and an agent, the one executing them. A principal expects that instructions will be carried out in their best interest and delegates this process to an agent, who typically possesses more information about the situation and can execute the instructions both for the employer's benefit and their own gain. There are various theoretical solutions to the principal-agent problem, but in a DAO, this problem doesn't exist at all since decisions are directly made by participants, without intermediating agents. Despite the innovative management model in a DAO, the organizational format comes with several significant downsides. For example, there's a so-called whale problem in an open market. There are always players with significantly larger capital than others. They can acquire a substantial portion of the DAO's tokens, thereby taking complete control of the organization and making decisions against the will of other participants. However, some DAOs offer different solutions to restrain whales, one of which is quadratic voting. In this approach, the number of votes isn't equal to the number of tokens owned by an individual, but rather to the square root of those tokens. For instance, a user with 1 token gets 1 vote, while a large player with 256 tokens only gets 16 votes. This system makes it harder for large players to centralize control over the organization. Another challenge of DAOs is the risk of hacking attacks. Occasionally, the smart contracts on which the organization relies must have security vulnerabilities that hackers can exploit, potentially leading to the theft of funds from the treasury. This fate befell the DAO project, a third of whose capital was stolen during a hacking attack. Although the DAO concept is still relatively new and has unresolved issues, it's rapidly evolving, and an increasing number of projects are adopting the DAO model over traditional management methods. In this module, we discussed DAOs, an innovative approach to organizational management, and learned how it operates. In the next module, we'll delve deeper into the topic of smart contracts, which have been mentioned several times in this chapter of the Decentralization Fundamentals course.